Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP gets into a fist fight with his girlfriend's father. Am I the butthole for physically defending myself from a grown man when I was late bringing his daughter home? I'm a 20-year-old guy dating a 20-year-old woman, and her father is 40. I'd taken an interest in this girl, and before taking her out on our first date, I found out that she still lived with her parents and she had a curfew. I respected that she was smart enough to pick a college in her town and stay with her parents. I planned on taking her to putt-putt and then eat some tacos. Upon picking her up, her father is this much older man and, according to my date, was very traditional on dating. He said that I need to have her home by 9:30 sharp. I said okay and promised to take her home on time. We had our date and it was a fun interaction. Unfortunately, on the way home, there was this jerk who wouldn't let us pass and was going almost 15 below the speed limits. I ended up arriving at her house late. I planned to explain myself when walking her up the walkway to her door until her father physically grabbed me by the collar of my shirt and threw his free hand into a fist. As a reaction, I got behind him and twisted his arm. I kept him there as he swore at me and said that I would never date his daughter. I let go and sped off in my car. Later, my date called me, telling me that I need to apologize for attacking her father and hurting his pride. I do feel bad that I did this, but I also feel justified for what I did. What's threatening to beat someone up because they're 5 minutes past curfew is bonkers. OP's writing is a little bit vague. It's unclear if the dad wanted to just threaten OP or if he was actually going to punch OP in the face. Either way, OP's completely justified. You have a right to defend yourself against literally being assaulted. The fact that he escalated so quickly after what sounds like a, 2 to 5 minute late delay makes me think this wasn't really about the curfew. The dad just wanted to, have a dong measuring contest and show that he's still the man of the house. But hey, turns out this 40-year-old washed up dad is weaker than a 20-year-old guy in pretty much peak physical condition. Also, OP posted an update. I actually ran into the father at my job. He ended up apologizing to me for his actions. His justification was that he assumed the worst because he became a father around my age. I forgave him for assaulting me. I did tell him that I won't be seeing his daughter, and he walked away. Well, OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the dad, even though he apologized, he still deserves a butthole score for, trying to beat up someone for no reason. So I think I'll go with 1.5 since he didn't throw a punch and he apologized. That might be a little low though. Am I the butthole for asking why my coworker wears makeup every day? So I'm a 29-year-old guy, and I was at work during a pretty long meeting with a few other coworkers. One of my coworkers is new, a woman in her late 30s, and the conversation steered around our professional experiences and history. Pretty standard, I guess. Midway during reviewing some boring stuff, this coworker asked me with a smirk, "Can I ask you a question?" Since we were talking about our professional lives, I was like, "Yeah, sure, what's up?" And she followed up with, "Why do you always wear hats?" Now, I'll be honest, I'm bald. However, I like my baldness. I started balding at 21 and I was like, F that, and just shaved it off instead of trying to style my hair in any way to hide it. Also, since my hair is super curly and compact, it just wasn't going to be an option. But when I turned 25, I started being mistaken for 30 because of the bald cut, so I started wearing hats pretty much everywhere. I grew a collection for all situations: work, gym, social life, anywhere besides weddings and funerals, to be honest. And with hats on at 29, I've been mistaken to be as young as 22. Not the goal, but yeah. The plan was to wear them until 30 and then cut back when my head matched my age, lol. Anyways, the coworker asks me, "Why do you wear hats every day?" To be fair, it's a corporate setting, but it's also tech. We're in marketing and it's 2025, so smart casual is the rule of thumb. And my bosses don't care and dress in hoodies and hats to work some days. I responded, "I like hats." And she said, "But every day?" So I said, "Yeah, I'm bald. I like my head shape, but I don't want to look like I'm 35, so I wear hats for now. Plus, I look good in them." Now, I wasn't thinking, and she's probably around 35 or older, so I may have offended her with that, but she replied, 29 and wearing hats every day to hide? Wow! This struck a nerve with me, so I responded, Well, since joining, I've seen you wear makeup every day, even casual Fridays on your work-from-home team calls. So why do you wear makeup every day? There was a muffled giggle, but it's clear the atmosphere was tense. She got heated and said, "That's a sexist question." I said, "How? Other women in the office don't wear makeup every day, and my boyfriend sometimes wears makeup when we go out to a high-class event. He just doesn't do it every day. So why do you wear makeup every day?" She got heated and silent, and one of the other coworkers went back to focusing on the deck. I feel like her and I are not on the best of terms now, as she'll not talk to me now. So am I the butthole? The top 3 comments all say everyone sucks here, and I actually don't agree. While I will agree that what OP did was unprofessional, I don't think what he did was butthole behavior, because all he did was return energy when she's the one picking fights. This is roughly the equivalent of someone else punches you, so you punch them back. You have a right to defend yourself. She criticized your appearance, you criticized hers. Could OP have taken the high ground? Sure, of course. Was he obligated to? No. So I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes, OP. You're just returning energy. She gets 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to take down my post and letting my ex face the consequences of her cheating? I was with my ex, Kelly, for 2 years and lived together since a year. I found out that she's been having an affair for 6 months with her boss. When I found out about it, I broke up with her on the spot. Kelly didn't even try to justify it or deny it, and just moved out. Honestly, I was expecting that she would bring up our breakup on Instagram, but she did the classic BS of, "My ex was holding me back. A bright future is waiting for me," all that type of stuff. But here comes my part in this, because the one thing that made me mad as hell is one of her posts when she said that I was abusing her emotionally and physically. I have a special spot with this because I volunteer in one of those abused women's centers, and I provide housing for real victims of abuse. So you can imagine the rage and anger I felt when she posted about this fake BS. So I simply made a post on my Instagram page with the proof of her cheating and tagged her directly. Well, for no reason, it's like Instagram decided to make my post go viral in our community, and the internet rage started under her posts. I was expecting maybe someone calling her out and nothing more. But the consequences hit her harder than I could expect, because in just 2 weeks, her profile is full of people calling her every possible name in the book. People wishing her the worst stuff and all these types of things. But Kelly, being Kelly, instead of doing what normal people do, she doubled down and got even more hate, and even worse stuff than I thought was possible. But the cherry on top was the fact that she's now on administrative leave, because apparently her boss tried to throw her under the bus to save his job, and mostly because her jobs page became flooded with not so kind comments about her, from the classic fire her stuff to things that I can't say here. And the most insane thing happened 3 days ago because her car had been smashed by someone. Not me, obviously, because I have better stuff to do than worry about a cheating ex. And even her own family started to get harassed by people on her socials. Yesterday, she wrote me from a new number asking me to delete my post because she couldn't keep up anymore with the people insulting her on every post that she makes, and the job thing was the last straw. Honestly, I wasn't expecting all this mess, and of course, some people crossed the line with her car, her family, and her job. But you know what? I don't feel bad for her at all. I mean, she knew about my soft spot for abused women and tried to paint me as a villain by accusing me of stuff she knew exactly how I feel about. So maybe it's all because it's still fresh, but I don't feel bad for her, and I have no intention of taking down my post, which actually gained me 50,000 followers out of nowhere. So, am I the butthole for refusing to take down my post and letting her face the consequences of her cheating? I agree, OP, that you don't owe her anything, and I love a story about a cheater getting their comeuppance. But, once the car got smashed and we're getting into actual violent territory, I mean, we're kind of getting close to your ex becoming an abused woman in a way. So for me personally, I think that's where the line would be crossed. Once someone is at risk of being hurt, I would take down the post personally. Though I think you're very justified in asking for an apology first, since she tried to effectively ruin your life, your reputation, your career potentially by painting you out to be an abuser. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your cheating, lying ex 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for refusing to give my college fund to my nephew after my sister found out about it? For the past 6 years, I've been working different jobs in my terrible country in order to save up and get a real education and a proper job later. My parents always promised to pay for it, but they never did. At some point, I managed to get a scholarship and I used saved money for housing and other bills and spendings. I have a sister with a son. She was always complaining about how no one ever helped her with the money, just like me. But unlike her, I didn't mention it that much. I never mentioned the fund, but my parents accidentally revealed it to my sister at the latest family gathering. Then, my sister immediately turns to me and asks me to donate the remaining money to her and her child, saying I could move back in with my parents. My freaking parents agree with her because family helps family. I obviously refused because I've been saving up for years and I'm gonna need it. Then, my sister and parents just turn red, accusing me of being a selfish prick. I quickly fled the family gathering without asking other family members what do they think about it, but I really don't know if I'm doing something incorrect or if their reaction was wrong. It's interesting how family doesn't help family when it comes to OP getting support, but suddenly family does help family when it comes to OP giving support. So what they mean when they say family helps family is OP helps everyone else. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your family gets 2 out of 5 buttholes for pretty standard entitlement. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.